last few weeks, we've been in the series about family called Fam. And each week we've spent time talking about different things about our families that impact our lives, for better or for worse. And while family is a really important thing to talk about, I know that for some of you, this whole series may have felt a little off. You've been here the last few weeks and all you've thought about is the fact that your family situation is just different. For some of you, this is because you feel like you don't have the kind of family everyone else has. Maybe you only have one parent in your life. Maybe your dad is a mess and you aren't allowed to see him. Or your mom left and you have no idea where she is. Or maybe you're adopted and even though that's awesome, you feel like it makes your family different. For others of you, you're struggling because the family you have isn't the family that you want. You wish your mom didn't work all the time and that she spent more time with you. Or you wish your dad would care a little bit more about what's going on in your life. Maybe you wish your older siblings weren't so mean. Or maybe that you actually had a sibling to begin with. Maybe your family is dealing with secrets people don't even know about. Things like addiction or abuse, cheating or divorce. And when you see your families in your neighborhood, you go to your friends' houses, all you can think is, man, I wish my family was more like them. I kind of even wish that they were my family. Or maybe you struggle to talk about family because you don't have one. Sure, you come from a family of some kind, but for whatever reason, you're not with them anymore. Maybe your parents passed away when you were younger, or maybe they got into trouble and they can't take care of you anymore. Or maybe you've never met them at all. You've been in someone else's care for as long as you can remember, and because of any of those reasons, you live with an aunt or an uncle, or grandparents, or neighbors, or foster parents, or friends. And even though you may have adults in your life who care about you, you still struggle because you know they aren't the fam that you came from. They aren't the fam you thought you would have, the kind everybody else seems to have. The truth is, talking about family can be hard because for so many of us, family doesn't look the way that we thought it would look. We think other families are so perfect or so much better or have it all together. But for whatever reason, that's not the kind of family we got. And honestly, that can make us feel completely and totally alone. If you're feeling that way about your family situation right now, let me stop you and encourage you with this. You're not the only one. In fact, that's a feeling a lot of us have felt about our own families. Not just today, but even thousands of years ago. In the Bible, there's actually a story about two guys who are dealing with this complicated family situation that I think can help us here today. These two guys were named David and Jonathan, and neither of them had typical home lives. David didn't live with his family. He left them when he was called to work for Saul, the king of Israel. And who was Saul? Well, he was actually Jonathan's dad. As they lived and worked together, Jonathan and David became close friends. Now at first this was no big deal because Saul, Jonathan's dad, loved David. But over time, things changed. As king, Saul wanted to be seen as the greatest, most powerful, most beloved leader in Israel. But David's popularity started to grow. And to make matters worse, God actually appointed David to be the next king, a plan that Saul did not love. As a result, Saul actually began to hate David, and I mean really hate him, so much that Saul plotted to kill David. To save himself, David had to flee and go into hiding, nearly avoiding being killed and captured. See what I mean? Both Jonathan and David were in family situations that didn't necessarily want to be in or expect to be in. David lived apart from his family, and Jonathan was dealing with his dad who was actually trying to murder his best friend. That might be enough to leave both guys feeling completely and totally alone. But you know what? Because they had each other, they didn't have to worry about the gaps in their family. These two guys formed a friendship that would be more like a brotherhood. They were the kind of friends who helped each other out, stuck with each other no matter what, and protected each other. The kind of friends who became like fam. The Bible describes their friendship like this. I love the story of Jonathan and David for a lot of reasons, but the main one is because I think it shows us this. Sometimes friends are more like family. Like we said, not all families look the same, and sometimes Like for Jonathan and David, you find yourself in a situation where other people in your life feel more like family than the people you're actually related to. Your friends, your parents, a coach, your teacher, a small group leader, even other members of your small group. Sometimes God puts people into our lives to act like family. Maybe you don't realize this, but that's even part of what we do here each week at church. We act as family of God. We support and encourage each other because that's what God calls us to do. He created us to do life with each other, like a family. Even when He's on earth, Jesus and His friends who became like family, His disciples, the men who were His closest friends and followers, became the people that He did everything with. They were as close as family, as believers. They became a part of a family of God. And it's the same thing God offers us. Whether this is the first time you've ever been here or attend every single week, I want you to know that you have a family here at Hope Lutheran Church. You have people who will support you, love you, and encourage you. Maybe your family at home is awesome, or maybe your family doesn't look the way you hoped it would. Maybe you have no family at all. No matter what your situation is, you have this family, the family of God, to walk with you through this life. Maybe you're sitting here thinking, yes, totally. I know exactly who the people are in my life that love and treat me like family. I know who makes up my fam outside of my family. If that's you, great. One of the best things you can do this week is to let that person or people know that you appreciate them. Shoot them a text, write them a note, or give them a shout out online. Thank them for making you feel like a part of their fam, and let them know that you want to do the same thing for them. You want their fam too. Or maybe you're sitting here thinking, that all sounds great, and I wish I had those people in my life, but honestly, I don't feel like I know who they are or where to find them. If that's you, then I'd say this. Bring more people into your circle. Think bigger than just people that you're close with right now. Think about who else is speaking into your life. Someone older than you or close to you who you can trust. Maybe it's a teacher, a coach, a friend's parent, or your small group leader. Maybe there are a few people in your small group who you know that you can lean on or trust to be a part of your fam. Identify at least one person who you could be like a family with and include them in more parts of your life. Spend time with them, ask them to hang out, open up to them about what's going on in your life. I promise you that it's worth it, because bringing more people into your life will expand your fam, and sometimes friends are more like family.